So hello everyone. I promised to show you how the GTX 970 ePower would run. It is in the system right now and running, and I have made some changes to it. You can see there's a piece of copper now, and I've also reinforced some connections, added some, like this one is new. Because some of the connections broke, I repaired the one that was broken on here. Also put a piece of copper there connecting these two ground points. And yeah, so the ePower is pretty sturdy now. And yeah, I'm gonna run the card in this video and show you what it overclocks to, how it runs Firestrike, and basically all that. Also this time the cat is here to watch me overclock. I think cats give extra internet points, do they? So here it is. We are on the desktop. I can show you GPU Z and Afterburner. We have our GTX 970 MSI. By the way, about the ASIC quality, I wasn't lying. It is really bad. And as you can hear, the moment I start the recording, the entire population of Germany drives through my street again. Wonderful. Let's just hope that this won't happen again. So, you see I have some profiles in Afterburner already. This is pretty much the best I was able to get through Firestrike, but it is unstable-ish. So there's an annoying thing about the card. A 210 offset on the core can mean two things. It can either mean 1501 MHz or 1513 MHz. The first one is, I wouldn't say completely stable, but it passes the test. The other one pretty much immediately crashes. And I can't, like, the card pretty much chooses whatever it wants, which is annoying. Then the 500 memory offset. This is far below what I was able to run. So this would run. This would also display a picture, but have some black screens in it. And this would be stable. So I don't know what's happening with the memory on this card, but the actual, like, it will run, it will finish benchmarks at 500, 600 offset. I think 700 too, but it will artifact a lot. To get it not artifact, you have to keep it around like a 200 offset. Like I've seen memory artifacts at 250. And yes, I know memory straps exist, but like, yeah, this memory can go really high frequency, but it won't be, like, it will artifact, which is kinda annoying, if you ask me. So yeah, but I'm just not gonna do memory first. Let's just try to test with GPU Z render test what clock we get. We either get 1501 or 1490. We get 1503, okay. Yeah, so usually a 210 offset would be 1501. You can see now the card has chosen to get to the higher clock, which would be very annoying. So yeah, this will pass Firestrike probably. Like now where the camera is rolling, it probably won't, because that's what always happens. This voltage right here, do not pay attention to that. That's, the reading is completely off, though actually it is probably around 1.25 volts under full load. So the ePower is set to 1.3 volts at the VRM. Under full load behind the core I get around that, 1250 millivolts. So let's run some Firestrike, enable the overlay. I'm not going for scores here. The best I've gotten, like the best I got is, I think, a 13,500-ish, which is like in 780 Ti territory. This is above what a 970 usually does, but I don't know what typical overclocked 970 results are because, well, both the 970s I have never ran stock. Like the pallet one never fully ran because one of the 4 power stages was blown up. And then this MSI one right here straight up never displayed a picture before I e-powered it because the vCore VRM was completely messed up and weird. So let's see. But I think 1500 megahertz is quite good for an overclock on this. So we seem to be stable. Temperature is looking okay. I actually don't know what this is, what this value is. I don't think this is power limit because I kind of doubt the memory would consume 60% of the rated TDP. Yeah, I wonder what that is. It's not fan speed. Because, like, there is no power limit on core anymore because it's getting e-powered. Like, the power is not coming from the card, it's coming from the e-power. And the e-power has no way of telling the card how much power is going through there. So I have no idea what that value is. I should look into... Yeah, I should just look into Afterburn after this is done. Temperature is looking pretty good. Like this is on the GTX 580 Phantom heatsink with one of the, like the third fan is removed because for whatever reason Gamebot chose to have 2 fan connectors and the third fan is on that third connector. And I only have 1 fan connector on the card. And also the third fan would interfere with all the cables, so I would have to remove it either way. But we can clearly see that it's doing fine. It's not even that loud. Like, you can probably hear it, but it's not that loud. Right, CPU test should be almost done. That's not gonna be interesting, it's gonna be like a 21,300-ish something, because it's an 1800X at 4 GHz. And then combined, and when that, once that is done, we get to see our score. I don't think it will be all that good, because we haven't touched memory. And there we are. It passed. Yeah, so the score... Oh, why is that score so low? I ran this benchmark earlier today and I got like 1,000 points more. Well, that score is also not really that great. Like, yeah. It's like... is it... Was a stock 780 Ti 11 or 12,000? I don't know. Yeah. So, guess we could make that better. Let's actually see. With those added wires to the e-power, yeah, no, it's not gonna pass. Let's just go back. Let's just gonna disable the those 2 tests. Let's look what happens. Actually, if 500 passes, don't really care about artifacts now. Like, I had 500 pass, but it's like, well, you never know with memory instability. Like, once it starts to artifact, it's pretty much like it could crash any second now. Though, knowing that this would run 700, it's probably gonna come through. Yeah, you can see it already starts to artifact. And no, it crashed. But that looks like a core crash. Like when you get that solid color thing, that looks like core. So, yeah. Do we really have to take off those 2 megahertz? I mean, let's just switch to heaven. And see it there. Yeah, you can see it is artifacting hard. And now the clock is different. You see, this is the same. Now we go to 210. You get 1501. Like, what is this? Like, maybe this is not pushing the card enough or something? Heaven, please open again. So we are and we crashed. Wow, this is really... Yeah, usually this doesn't happen. Usually this would run. Don't know what's happening right now, probably just because the camera is rolling. Actually I tried Valley before. Just gonna have to not set it to full screen. Actually, now I can show you the 700 thing. See? 4200. And I mean, it's artifacting a lot. But yeah, like it pretty much looks the same all the way down to like 300 on this. Let's test if it does 750. Yep. Oh, no. Okay, 750 is too much. Yeah, and then even 300, I think, is going to artifact. It's gonna take a while, but like 250 in Firestrike artifacted, and Firestrike is a bit heavier than this. So in Valley we sit at around 45 watts. That's 30% TDP. So whatever that is not that 50% value. Let's see what it is. Usage temperature, memory usage. That's in megabytes. Core clock, memory clock, fan speed, CPU usage, CPU temperature, CPU clock. You just saw that artifact. RAM usage? No. Wait, what is that? Oh. No, that's power for the CPU, is it? Temperature limit, power limit. Take that away. No, it's still there. But that's for the CPU, isn't it? No. It is power. Okay, I don't know where that is coming from then, because this is reporting a much lower TDP, and that actually makes sense with like what's the TDP of this thing? 100 and, well, actually no, 150. If you do that, 160 watts. Like, this is the MSI Armor card. It's not like, it's basically a gaming X with like a strapped down cooler, and you get a 6-pin instead of an 8-pin. And of course now my E-power's on it. But yeah, so you can see the artifacts at 300. And then the total difference with, like, yeah, it's artifacting, but like you've seen it run for a while. And let's just hope he goes to the correct. Yeah, 1501. And, well, yeah, 45 watts under full load. Because, well, the core is E-powered. That, don't pay attention to that. That's That's trash. Doesn't matter. The controller has... There literally is no controller. I don't know where it's getting these readings from. Like, I desoldered the core controller. It's no longer there. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for showing off the car. Like, I really just wanted... Yeah, I wanted to show that it runs. It does. You see it right now. It does run. It plays games. I mean... if you really want to see it, we can play some Cyberpunk. Installed it on the test bench as well. I actually don't know if 1500 MHz core is stable in that game. I just know that it's very, like, it likes to artifact a lot when I push the memory on the card. Don't know if the core is fine with this. And you're also going to see that this card gets pretty much murdered by this game. You can get 60 to 70 FPS, but by using the literally lowest settings available. So, yeah. Let's just hope that my... my save game... Well, those are old save games, but, yeah. Save them nonetheless. Yeah, so you can see up in the left corner, we are getting our 60-ish FPS. The graphics card is on a full load. But the price of that is, and you can see we dip under it. I don't know if that's just the first gen Ryzen single core speed screwing us over. I have seen that the game uses, like, sometimes hits 100% usage on my 8700K, which is a 6 core. So it is using more than 4 cores. But you can see the utilization is rather low on this one. So I don't know if the dips are because the graphics card can't do it anymore or because we are hitting first gen Ryzen problems. Because the single core is not great. It is running though. Like, this is still better than PlayStation 4. But, yeah, so... if you look at the graphics, it's just everything off and low, and I've put in target frames per second 60 and then, well, 50% resolution, which, well, half of 1080p. Also put crowd... Hey, why is it on high? Wanted to put that on low because I've seen that it helps a lot because it takes load off the CPU. I haven't done the RAM pool tweak on this one. I have done it on my main system, which gave me another like 10 to 20 FPS. A friend told me he got like 40 to 50 FPS more. But we can see that our problem is the graphics card. We are basically full load, like 98%, that's full load. And I mean, yeah, we are getting our 60 FPS and it still looks pretty good. Even though it's just half of 1080p, but like, yeah. The problem with things older than 10 like, actually, I don't know. Does DLSS work on 10 series? Because it doesn't on 900. Like, you can't put DLSS on this. Don't know if you need a 20 series for this, or if 10 series does it too. Like, 10 series does RTX, even though it's not designed for it, so it could do DLSS as well, I think. Don't know though. Yeah, but I mean, this is pretty much about minimum spec. Like, the minimum spec for this game is a GTX 780, and stock a 970 is pretty much as fast as a 780. It just has 1 extra gig of VRAM. This one overclocked is now at around 780 Ti speeds, but that's not a lot better, as you can see. Though it is definitely playable, like, this is very, very playable. And I've hit the end of something. So, yeah. It does run Cyberpunk. And we haven't crashed yet, and we are still at 1500 megahertz. So, yeah. And I guess now where I'm just driving around in the game, I guess I could ramble a bit about what my plans are for the card. So the channel is coming up on 200 subscribers, and I feel like I should do something to thank the people watching. I'm thinking about doing another live stream with this card, where I'm gonna do overclocking, and I could put some caps on it and like mess with the e-power some more, like make the connections even better, but I don't really think that would be an interesting thing to watch. I don't think I'm gonna make a video or live stream out of that. I'm gonna overclock the card on stream. The thing is just there's two options. First option is I'm doing it soon, and that will be I will probably put the card on water, but it will be an ambient session, like there will be normal water cooling on it. And I'm ready to set the e-power all the way up to I'm ready to go all the way up to 1.45 volts behind the core, which would probably like be 1.5 at the e-power. So that's 200 millivolts over what I'm currently running on the e-power, which is 1.3. So yeah, assuming this thing just scales the voltage a lot, which I don't know. I know 980 Ti's and tight nexus like GM200s, the big Maxwell cores, don't really scale at all, and don't also really overclock. But this is a GM204, this is a smaller core, and as far as I know, these should be nice to overclock, like these should scale, and I did see about 40 megahertz of scaling going 50 millivolts up. Like in the beginning I ran the e-power at 1.25, then I set it to 1.3, and before this would run about 1466. Now as you can see it does 1501. Might actually do a bit more now I have repaired and reinforced the power connections. I should maybe I just got a few millivolts of voltage drop solved for me. And yeah, so the first option for the live stream would be just water cooling and just looking how far it can get by upping the voltage. The second option would be wait longer until it gets really, really cold where I live, because right now it's like, yeah, it's still too warm. Probably mid-January 2021. Hopefully then it will get cold enough in Germany. And then I will do chilled water on this card, which should be more interesting, but that's probably just gonna take a while because it's not cold enough around here. And I would also then use that opportunity to mess a bit with my water cooling loop, because I was thinking of building a second one. Like currently the water cooling loop is on the i7-960, which I still also have to make a video about. So I'm gonna have to get it away from that, and I was thinking about just building another really cheap water cooling loop, putting that on the i7-960 permanently, and then getting like yeah, using the current one for GPUs again, but I'm gonna get a proper block this time, like a block that has a better fin structure and like is maybe made for GPUs and where I don't have to drill any holes into it. And maybe get a 360 rad instead of a 240, and some better fans and that stuff. So yeah, if I'm gonna go for option 2, and I kind of feel like I'm going for option 2, I will hopefully have also upgraded my water loop, because I noticed overclocking GTX 580s with it. That 240 rad and those fans are it's just too weak. For this card it's probably fine, but more cooling is more cooling. So yeah, and then chilled water, I will either just put the radiator in like an ice bucket, or I will try to get the ice water into the loop directly. So I'm gonna have to, like when Jace2Sense and Gamers Nexus did their OC battle with the 2080 Ti's, they tried that, and they found out that putting the radiator in ice water is a lot more effective than having the ice water in the loop directly. I suspect it happened because they were sucking in warm water from the ice bucket into the loop again, and not the cold one. So yeah, that's my suspicion why it wasn't working that great. But maybe there's another reason, and I'm gonna have to end up submerging my radiator again. So in that case, well, yeah. I don't like submerging the radiator because the one that I have started to rust after I did it the last time. Admittedly, I didn't dry it properly. So yeah. But that's like kind of the options of what I'm gonna do with this card. I might mod it, but it's not gonna be like a video or something. Like maybe putting some caps on the memory or the core, or like minor things. I'm not like doing an e-pose about the most extreme thing you can do, and I've already made a video about that. Or like are still making a video right now about that, showing it running. But yeah. The video is getting long enough now. So yeah, I guess now you've seen the card run, and it overclocks. Like I think 1500 megahertz it's pretty good. Like this was a really cheap card. Like this was the armor that had like a really bad cooler, and then like the PCB, yeah, it's technically a Gaming X PCB, but down costed a bit. And the AC quality is trash. Like it's better than 6.9%. As you can see here. So yeah, the AC quality is trash, but I think that's actually a good thing, because that means it's gonna scale with voltage a lot, if what I know is true. So yeah, don't want to drag it out anymore. So just thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, goodbye.